think this starts 8:18. Okay. Oh my god, look at my fucking face. Oh, let me get out of here. I'm just trying to see who's on couch here. Whew. It's my run from AGDQ 2014. Look, it's not even the right URL anymore. Or it wasn't back then. It wasn't, they didn't change the URL for some time, and it always bothered me. But that's whatever. Okay, I'm trying to remember who's all on couch. This is Decided Sloth, Dishonored Runner. This is Ethelon. He ran like Cube and a whole bunch of Portal games. I think this is Loaf of Bread 13, if I remember right. Zach SK, I can't tell who that is. That's Judgy, the legendary world record holder. If you ever want a good look at him, that's him right there. I don't know who that is in the back, and these people in the back don't matter. One thing I'm pretty sure happens in this, because I also got reminded from a comment down here. There is a whole free chat debacle, which maybe I'm blowing out of the water. I don't remember it very clearly. But before GDQ got to the point of just locking chat to sub only, just 100% of the time, they had done it for part of this, and there was like a donation incentive someone decided to do where they could free chat, or it was like a bid war or something. So maybe they'll get into it, but yeah, I just wasn't happy. Like all the comments were just like hashtag free chat and stuff. I'm gonna make chat over here a little better looking real quick. You guys are getting cropped off. Gotta get all those hot emotes in there, you know. Oop, oop. Oh, professional streamer. There we go. There I am. Old GDQ chat, yeah. Estimate's 105. That's really high. I'm assuming this is with hallways. I don't believe until 2015 I had the quit out strats found out. And at this point it was just myself and Zamanzo speedrunning it. For the most part, I don't think anyone else really touched it for some time. That didn't happen until like after the last time I ran Quantum Conundrum, then some other people picked it up. Yeah, the shaved, the no chin having squinted face. I talked about this during the BioShock run, but the shirt I'm wearing, I do have it in my closet. I just didn't pull it out for this because I don't remember. But it's a shirt of people who donated to help me get there at the time. So it's a cool little thing, which I once again probably do not point out in the video. Now you run it blindfolded and one-handed. Hey, you know what? It's fine. All right, let's see how bad this is. So I think this is one of my least favorite. I also think the audio is super low.
All right, so you guys don't have any sound, but I guess we're gonna just explain what the...
Oh, apparently there's no sound. Yeah, they had tech issues, so there's like no sound.
What the game is, because I'm assuming practically no one knows what this game is. No one ever does. So this is
also, I think I mentioned this a couple minutes ago. I'm very forgetful tonight. I think this was like a 4 or 5 a.m. run, and I was extremely tired because I didn't sleep at all. Like the entire week, I look pissed. I'm probably just extremely tired here, and I'm just like tech issues. Get out of here.
You might get a feeling of Portal from it, and that's pretty typical. One of the lead developers on Portal, Kim Swift, left Valve and joined Airtight Studios to actually make this game. So it has a bit of a feeling of Portal, but it's very, very different once you actually get into the mechanics of it. Story-wise, you don't really need to know the story.
Yeah, it's pretty much true.
Really, you're a 10-year-old boy in a giant house trying to save your uncle.
Even in my voice, I can hear that I'm just extremely frustrated with what's going on. Less than a minute into the run, and I can hear I'm not having a good time there. So I think this is probably my least favorite run I've done. And why I probably haven't watched it back since it happened 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Basic stuff. Everyday life.
There's no game audio, but you can hear the tech people talking in the background, or someone talking in the background. The classic GDQ. This is what people want when they say they want old school GDQ. They want to be able to hear people talking in the background that have no relevance to what's going on stream.
So while comparing this to Portal, we don't get a Portal gun, but we do get a glove that lets us control different dimensions, and we'll end up with 4
Hate watching,
overall.
yeah. Cringe watching.
Well, actually 5, because we have normal. We'll also get fluffy, heavy, slow-mo, and anti-gravity, and as we get to them, we'll kind of get into it. But for now, we're sitting through the intro. We can just mess around a bit.
All right, we'll watch more of it here in a second before I pause again. Being a typical React Andy pausing all the time. A lot of times during speedruns, and something I've done more recently, I like to bring up the story and the lore to fill in these dead spaces when there's not really much going on. This is one of those moments, but this game doesn't really have a story other than, hey, you're a kid at this house, your uncle's trapped in a different portal or a different dimension, you have to go save him. That's it. That's the entire story. You don't get better story as it goes on. There's no developments. So you don't really have that with this game. And for the intro, because there's no dialogue that you can hear, I can't just let that play and fill it in. And this is my second ever run in front of tons and tons of people. It's like, the commentary is going to be awful. Yo, Fire Truck, thanks for the bits. 7 years later, yeah.
There's no AVHing or bunny hopping. If you see me jumping, it's just because I feel like it instead of walking.
I do this all the time in games. Some people have told me they really don't like watching when I do runs where I just jump all the time. But it's just a habit. I can't just walk for it. It seems so uninteresting. Jumping around's the way to go.
It's kind of a habit.
Stack him. Stack him. Stack him, please.
I'll stack them in the next area.
Okay.
You can actually just...
I think Ethelon's, he might have played this at some point. I don't imagine anyone else there would have. But once again, this is probably like 4 a.m. and even he's like dead tired.
Through the door in this part, but it's...
Stack them. Man. Looks so mad. Yeah, I think I'm just like so frustrated with the situation of like, I think they might have also, I'd have to go back to the beginning. They might have like been delaying it more and more to fix the audio. Like, oh, we're going to push it back another 30 minutes to fix the audio or have this long setup time. And I'm just sitting there waiting to do the run. And there's like, yeah, we can't have it fixed. So just go anyways. And it's
a little bit of frame droppage in between certain parts. And that's because the game doesn't use loading screens. There are 3 loading screens overall in the game, but only for significant...
World record? Not in this game, no.
Instead, it uses long...
You might be thinking of Cube.
Kind of buffer it, so you'll notice some frame drops. That's not the
Pretty
shooter,
sure.
That's just the game.
It might, if my memory is not serving me correctly and that he did hold record in this game, I think I know why. It's because of like one trick that was found and he was like the first one to do it in a run and then subsequently got beaten.
A little bit big for a 10-year-old.
That might have been what that was.
Depends on the 10-year-old, really.
Alright, so here we can stack the books. I'll try to make a little pathway. Put this one here.
Classic stacking. Look at this expert stacking abilities. Woo.
Alright, so now we're entering the blue wing. There's 3 overall, blue, yellow, and red. Colors don't really represent anything, but it kind of helps to break up the game. And the game does a really, really great job of introducing new things as it goes. It doesn't just throw it all at you at once, so... it's going to start off...
Clapping sounded so wet.
Pick up in the middle.
By great job, he really means that it does it by using puns, which is really the only way.
Yeah, that's the worst thing about not having audio for this game, is there's a lot of humor in the puns and the references that you just unfortunately don't get. It's like...
Which GDQ is 100, the humor for GDQ is now 100% puns. So it would have been literally perfect, but thing is Monzo, yeah. So he might have held it for like a day or two at some point in time, but I'm pretty sure either myself or Zamanzo held it for many years before other runners picked it up and did some stuff with it.
Playing Portal without GLaDOS, so you can
Yeah, you can see it immediately. This is where you would start doing the hallway skips, where you just disconnect because you have the checkpoint for the next level. So you disconnect and then just spam enter to load into the next room. There are some strats in the hallways, which is kind of sad that they get skipped because there is actual tech in them. Mostly they're empty, just long walking segments, but there's like 3 different hallways you can get that have some strats to them.
So instead, you should go buy the game yourself and play it and experience it.
Doesn't the stream have audio either?
Nope.
Sweet.
Oh, I don't think I had audio. I'm not wearing a headset there. And I might have to look at the BioShock one. Did I have a headset in the BioShock one? Let me go check real quick. So it's one thing if the stream doesn't have audio, it's another thing if you don't have audio as the runner. Imagine having audio, I know. Let's see, where's my BioShock video? I was just curious how they, okay, no, I didn't. I guess, I don't know how they were doing audio. They might have just had it on like a speaker, but it's not playing there. I don't know.
This is the first dimension we're going to get. If you see these little colored batteries, they each represent a different dimension. This one's fluffy, represented by blue, and it's basically lightweight dimension.
I think I say basically in this a lot,
You can
I'm
pick
going
up
to be
things you
honest.
can't normally pick up, and it's probably the most broken dimension, so getting it right.
It's 100% the most broken dimension. Fluffy is amazing. Alright. I don't think a lot of the room strats really have changed much. They've just gotten cleaner.
Yeah, the game does have subtitles, but it's not the same. It's not John Delancey.
It's going Patrick. Oh, the fluffy flying is so...
Try to go a little bit.
I'm not even fluffy flying, this is just moving the safe.
Didn't work out too well.
Has it gotten fluffier? Oh, everywhere. Ooh, this is a very rough start. I'm gonna say one thing I've always disliked about the Quantum Conundrum one, as much as I love the run itself and all the tricks, it doesn't look impressive. I feel like it feels very slow, like moving around, walking. Yeah, it's pretty yikes. It's not like crazy momentum everywhere, flashy stuff, except for when you're object hovering, and then it kind of can be. But like a lot of the tricks don't look as impressive or as hard as they may be, unfortunately. That young thunder, yeah.
This is one of them. Some are shorter than others.
The goal was here somewhere, not in the room, not supporting a friend. But he's there somewhere.
Something that goes along with that is that it can really break certain maps because of the way it just naturally loads and unloads rooms. It doesn't quite do them all in the hallways. And we'll get to that in just a few rooms.
You've never seen this run? Hey, you gotta watch it right now. The speakers, yeah, it's such a weird setup. We do this one inbounds. This is one of the few that did change over time.
So I didn't really mention them, but if you see any of these little things on the floor, they're pressure pads that you have to weigh down to advance or open a door. I need another one. And you can only weigh them down in normal dimensions.
I forgot about doing this.
It usually leads to some pretty interesting methods.
Look at these half-assed like circle strafes.
Right now we're doing pretty much intended solutions done quicker.
Done quicker. Get it? It's a good pun.
Side.
Yeah.
Man, these hallways are so brutal.
We know no bounds.
Thanks to Anonymous for a $5 donation. Hello, AGDQ 2014. Awesome runs for an awesome cause. I love it. I'd like this $5 donation to go to name the Wind Waker HD file name Free Chat.
Nice jump there.
So I did a little bit of a glitch there, but you can't really tell. But once I get to the next room, that's when the main glitch.
Yeah, this is like super early morning.
To show. It's known as object hovering, prop flying, swishy swishing, fluffy flying, any of the above.
I forgot about swishy swishing. That was a Zamanzo thing, I'm pretty sure. It's also called swishy swishing.
Safe strats.
It's the sound it makes when you do it. Swish, swish, swish.
That was a terrible pun.
It's in the spirit of the game. You wait. You just wait.
The game has worse puns than that.
Sadly, we don't get to hear them.
He's stepping up the humor with the lack of audio.
One really nice feature of object hovering is that you can actually keep the item, so I'm not supposed to have the safe at the moment. And let me skip this puzzle.
Oh, the hovering's so rough.
Oh, wow.
Oh, the joke. The big joke. Man, this run. How did I go underestimate? I would love someone to fact check this. I don't think anyone ever would or ever should, but go through every GDQ run that's ever been done, and this might be the longest silence. From the commentating, from the game, from the donation reader, might be the longest silence, like period of just nothing.
There we go.
I might have the world record in that. Possibly.
Moving forward with an object or any direction really is much more difficult than going straight up, especially if you want to go really quickly. It's something that even after putting hundreds of hours into the game, I'm not proficient at.
For the record. For the record, I have 400 hours in this game.
Second dimension.
At this date. 7 years later, I have 400 hours in this game. At that time, I probably had like over 100, maybe. Do you? And it's Sloth over there? Sloth and Ethelon?
Fluffy, pretty much every regard. It's obviously heavy dimension, and it makes everything.
I don't have a lot of hours in a lot of my speed games.
Not really broken at all.
I've never been one to put thousands of hours to a game.
Nice.
More dead air. Nice.
So now it's going to go through a few more tutorial type puzzles with heavy dimension before it really lets us kind of experience.
Awaited the decision.
Why don't they read more $5 donations? They probably didn't have any at this point, honestly.
You never know.
I'm surprised that exact dial wasn't in the game.
This might be the quietest GDQ run in history.
Point out all the puns.
The real appeal of heavy dimension is to break objects, mainly glass, to weigh down the pressure pads with normal dimension, but if it's a small item, it can't, so you need heavy. And it's also going to block some lasers, which, if you see
Awesome games
like
done
that,
quietly.
That will kill you and destroy anything that's not in heavy dimension. Blue lasers don't have to worry about.
Oh, the RNG.
That's the only bit of RNG in the game to go terribly wrong for me. It's like a 1 in 20 chance of happening, so.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't know where that 20 chance came from. I think I was just like, I gotta say something at this point. I've only seen that happen like a handful of times. It's really awful, those safes.
This game is just not liking at the moment. You would think the safes would come out consistently every time, Nope. There's actually a random pattern to how they fall down.
And it's only a problem in this one place.
Trying to give people a seizure here.
Yeah, a lot of the RNG we've been able to cut out through various means, but for now that.
I'm trying to think if there were other RNG spots. I don't think there really were. I can't think of where that would possibly be referring to. Man, if I could just go back 7 years into my own mind, just saying whatever comes to mind, I guess.
Besides the very last part.
How is this room done
We're
differently?
gonna get heavy and we're going to,
I think it's done the same. It was just a lot sketchier back then because I didn't understand it.
there we go.
No, okay.
So you throw the box up and block the lasers, which you're not supposed to do, and then you can just skip right to the exit instead of solving the puzzle. And that's kind of a common trick later on.
Please clap. Nobody claps, dude.
Blue
Clapping
one
is
now
dead.
Really a good example of showing off all the tricks we'll be using, and then just applying them later on to certain situations.
Fantasy.
Alright, I talked about the loading and unloading a room, so
Oh, wait, okay, we had this out of bounds back then.
pay attention.
Just pay attention.
Oh yeah.
That might be my favorite thing I've ever said at a GDQ. So just pay
The way that
attention.
works is that the room isn't completely loaded
You guys don't need to know how to do any of this.
in it. It loads it and unloads it as it goes, which kind of defeats the whole purpose of the hallways.
Oh god.
That was weird.
What even happened?
So if you get out of the area where the game thinks you should be, it will unload the room to save from lagging. And typically in Blue Wing, they don't expect you to get up the high places because you don't have the ability to. Except with prop flying, you can get to the top, which the game then thinks you're out of the range. So it unloads it. You can get up on top of it, come back down, and it loads back in, letting you stand on it.
I guess that explains it.
Pretty nice feature. Unfortunately, it's not overly used quite yet.
Springing to new height. We don't actually get to see any spring action though, so. But there's a spring in this room, I'm telling you. Good job.
Thanks to Vesper for a $500 donation.
Yeah.
Yeah, woo! Gave us something to talk about. Oh, there's no comment, apparently. Nice. No, I said for the trick, it's like I sort of explained it, so just pay attention here. I don't know. Like the hallways, yeah, the hallways are nice. Like there's some fun moments with the narrator in the hallways. And it's got their like different designs, but for speedrun they are very annoying to run through all of the time.
Pull a trick here. If I can break this window. Alright. So you can just fool the game into thinking that you're weighing down the pressure pads by switching in and out of dimensions, which makes no sense at all, but fortunately for us, it lets us use one instead of two. And later on, we can...
That was so harsh back then.
But every door that has more than one pressure pad is actually different. So you have to break them in unique ways.
That is true. Every time there's like a pressure pad, I guess that's what I'm calling them. Anytime that's at the end of a level to open the final door, there is a different way to break it every single time. It's not done in the same way. Same idea, but different execution.
We're going to skip all this.
Yo, how's my basketball? Sounds like an asshole? Yeah, dude.
So we have the...
Things have not changed in 7 years. Oh, I didn't even say Kobe.
Oh.
Oh, oh no. A little bit over. There we go.
Gotta say Kobe.
For 3.
And everyone's favorite.
The chaos done.
Facial hair, yeah. That's why I don't shave this. It's taken a long time for the sides to come in. And a lot of the other ones, I might have like the mustache and somewhat of a goatee. I don't remember if I really trimmed those down, but yeah, this isn't coming off anytime soon. It might get trimmed, but it's not, you're not going to see this face. Unless something drastic happens and I have like chin cancer or something.
Yeah, indeed.
The young boy. The young blood. Another very long
Next turn
silence.
is the last time we'll go out of bounds, but you really won't have a chance to see it because we're going to instantly load the room back in.
Oh, this room.
Hopefully this goes well. It's a pretty difficult timing. But if I do it, it will
This
skip
trick sucks.
pretty much the entire level.
No, so if there's a thing, I don't remember exactly why there's no audio. But there's like some tech issue going on where the stream didn't have game audio, and I'm pretty sure there we didn't have game audio either. So I had to do it with no sounds, which for some stuff later on, some people have used audio cues for a couple things in the Yellow Wing. But luckily I'd always practice off visual cues, which is nice. I never like to use audio cues if I can help it, in like any game. It's not the current strat? No.
A minute and a half to do normally.
The current strat is to clip up through the wall and then clip the chair out with you, and you hover over to the end.
There's three things that can happen. Either it either works or it doesn't work, and he.
This is the loading through the wall. This is a strat I did like 2 weeks ago when I ran this.
But I believe, I hope.
This trick, before we found the new method, this trick was so cancerous. Once you got it down and kind of knew the timing and what to look for, it wasn't the worst, but it's so tight on timing that it's just not fun. Also, having this conveyor belt right here makes it really hard to set up, which is obnoxious. And if you practice setting up the chair, like I'm going to set it up this way.
So I'm gonna get on.
If you try to set it up a different way, like if you fail it once and you have to redo it, if the chair is like tilted to the side or more on its, like the arms of the couch, it just messes up everything about the setup. Like the timing is going to be way off because you're going to be at a different height, and it's the worst.
On this chair.
All right.
So I loaded it back in there, but unfortunately I didn't get to the other side. I'm going to turn the chair a bit.
That's why you'll always see me do something like this if I ever go for the strat of just like trying to... I'm just rushing it here.
The worst part about this trick is the conveyor belt because it wants to move the chair, but that makes it extremely difficult to set it up in any way.
Oh.
And I missed it.
Yeah. So if I had gotten it, I would reload the room very, very quickly. So I'll give it one more try and I'll just do the room normally if not.
How did this come in underestimate? This is awful. How many runs have I had? I've lost count. It's like 17, I think 16, 17 up there. It's hard to keep track after a while. Like sometimes like, oh, that was number 16, but in my mind I'll be like, oh, last time I did it, I had 16, or this is going to be 16 because last time I said it was going to be 16 if I got another run in, and it's somewhere near the high end of the teens, low end of the 20s. Not quite 20, but there's some site, I think, like GDQ VODs or something that tracks them all. So I don't have the most. I know that for a fact because basically anyone that did GDQs prior to me, especially like the very, very first GDQs, like the classic games done quick, they just showed up and they just played whatever games that they knew. So they got like 10 games in per person at every event. So some people have like 40, 50 runs. I think in terms of, because I've looked this up before, in terms of having at least one run in back to back, like a streak, The only person that beats me out is PJ. He was like one more than me before he didn't get one in. Let me see if GDQ VODs is the site I'm thinking of. Yeah, GDQVODs.com. Let's see. If anyone's curious. No results found. What? Oh, it might be under 18 runs? Oh, shit. Man, I'm good. I probably wasn't counting the last two I just did for SGDQ. What? I can't find my name in... Well, let me just search for Bioshock. Let me just do that. Oh, they put a space in my name. That's why. Trying to see if there's a way to search by... There's some site, or maybe someone put out like stats at some point on like the subreddit, speedrun subreddit, of like most stuff. Yeah, I know I'm definitely like within the top 10 for most runs, but because I didn't attend those classic ones.
Oh damn! Dang it!
Kind of got shafted.
Yeah, the timing for that's really, really...
Also, we're still on the strat. Oh, wait. I'm actually doing the... And oh, this is so awful. That's the worst feeling. Honestly, when you just give up on a trick, you're like, I can't do this. I'm going to do the super safe way. And then you fuck that up. That's the worst. It happens whenever I get to watching Wolfenstein: The Old Blood, Chapter 2. Was just so unkind to me the entire time. I was like, I'm just going to try this other strat that usually works. And then that screwed me over. And it's like, well, I'm just wasting time doing all these backup strats instead of just going for the thing I should have been going for and probably getting faster. First GDQ, yes. This is my first GDQ, second run. The Bioshock one I'd done. I don't remember the schedule. This might have been like the next day or 2 days after. I'm not entirely sure.
Just in case, so should be fine.
But by this time I'd already done my Bioshock run. I honestly, I don't remember.
This is actually probably one of the the rooms that people really dislike doing casually because it involves a lot of platforming on conveyor belts. So.
Yeah, it's not a fun room, that's for sure.
Oh god.
And it messed it up again. How did this come in underestimate? How? Alright, I take it back from before. This is the longest silence in GDQ history.
So the uncle in this was by John Delancey. So I'm really sad you missed that because he's awesome. But yeah, you should play the game yourself. It's a fun game. What?
He really makes the game.
He does.
The commentary's on point.
There's a reason to object hover there, and it actually just breaks this next room. There's supposed to be a laser right here, and we can just walk right through it. You'll notice that there's there's no textures there.
This room is where we would end up if we came back inbounds after
Man.
we out of bounds.
What a room.
So it's right at the end.
Superliminal? Yeah, Superliminal's a really cool game. It's got cool speedrun too.
Oh, that's fine, we can stick another one right there.
Like the worst blue wing in the history of me running this game.
So I need to hit that checkpoint before I can even do the next part.
20-minute blue wing.
I'm gonna try to go.
I think a good blue wing is like 12, 13 minutes. Like back then, like 15 minutes was kind of your aiming point. Getting a 20-minute blue wing is
glitch here, but it's
not great.
always that easy to get. And this is the last level in the blue wing, so it will have a loading screen here.
Probably fire truck. Not tonight, but I do plan on going back through all of my runs. kind of space them out a bit.
About 1/3 of the game done.
So Blue Wing has a lot of intricate, lot of object hovering. Yellow Wing is probably the most difficult, which is why we call it the Yellow Wing instead. And
The what?
probably the most difficult, which is why we call it the Yellow Wing instead.
YOLO wing, not yellow wing. YOLO wing.
Once again, it'll start off slow.
Have to enunciate.
The new dimension, but
A lot of intricate.
once we get halfway through Yellow Wing, it's going to be a fun time.
Yellow wing? Yellow wing. Look at I think I was doing this on purpose, this like exaggerated circle strafing. I for a while I actually did that in QC runs. Like I always said, and it's true, that there is no way to speed up jumping in the game. There's no bunny hopping, there's no circle strafing. But because I just always did it and people kept asking why I jumped, I just started acting like I was circle strafing. Just because I could. I wanted to feel like I was. Now he's nodding off. I think he does fall asleep at some point. I'm gonna be honest. People falling asleep on the couch or even like the backup couch nowadays, whenever they do live events again, is very common. Oh, Azure, another puzzle speedrun master. I forgot Azure was at AGDQ 2014, to be honest.
So we're about to experience the third dimension we're going to get, which is slow-mo. You can probably tell what slow-mo is. It slows everything down.
Everything but the character or whatever. Since he's wearing the IDS glove, or yeah.
Explain further. Man, it's so unnerving how quiet just everything is. Like even without sounds, like I'm not doing commentary most of the time. Ethelon's sort of chiming in with some fun stuff here and there. Like, no donation reader trying to push in most of the time. It's just, this is not something you will probably ever see again in a run. They would at least be reading donations off left and right, or throwing out a plug for whatever game's going to come out in 3 years.
It's like completely legitimate science.
Yeah, yeah. It'll get explained later.
Okay, we didn't have that little nifty jump there.
It'll make sense in this game.
So on the way back, we're going to skip those two safes I just jumped across because, once again, they are...
I feel like we might, I could be wrong, we might have known about the out of bounds here, but we didn't know how to do it consistently, like jumping up out of bounds.
out of the,
Possibly.
the
Could be
dollars.
wrong.
Which doesn't really make sense, but don't have to worry about it too much. All right.
Nice.
All right. So there's just a small, I mean, really small platform you can stand on next to the lasers. A few pixels to the left, and you get hit by the laser. A few pixels to the right, and you fall off. So you really have to be careful there.
Red Bull everywhere. Even the one after that, they still had it everywhere on site. They just didn't force it as much. I don't know.
And the next room might be one of my least favorites in the game. Not because it's
Oh,
bad or
okay, that's fine.
difficult. It's just, this is a puzzle game, and there's absolutely no puzzle to.
It's a puzzle platformer. I've gotten used to that now. This game is definitely light on the puzzles and more heavy on the platforming for a puzzle platformer. But yeah, there's a lot of rooms that aren't really puzzly. Sometimes they are, even if they're like an auto scroller. You just have to know which dimension to go to. But yeah.
Yeah.
This room, it's all platforming.
This is an auto scroller, by the way.
Yeah, Unfortunately, there's no way of speeding it up, but we do know of a few out of bounds that we're trying to test.
Which I was just going to mention. Pause it again. You know, typical pausing during your reaction. There is a strat now where you can go out of bounds fully from start to finish of this level, but it is like 2 seconds faster maybe, and it's so convoluted I've never even thought about learning it. It seems like the worst thing ever. In terms of just an out of bounds strat.
Pick up Alfred, which for those that watch my stream will know what that is.
My commentary is so good. 1 cycle faster, yeah, it's like hardly faster at all, and it's just the worst thing. The cringe. Alfred is a noisemaker, which when you pick it up makes a noise. And it's a fun collectible you get along the way. If you watch an all collectibles run, which if I keep watching these things, I think the next time I ran it, it was an all collectibles run in SGDQ 2015. I had to pick all those up. At some point, I thought about giving each and every one of them a name. I think I even had splits with the names, and that's the only one I've ever remembered of being Alfred. I don't know the others.
One of the big sources of humor in the theory is the paintings that you look at and changes and paint dimensions. That's cool.
Yeah, the paintings in this game are cool. They change depending on which dimension you're in.
Yeah, there's a lot of little references and puns like every corner. Every single book you see in the game, which are all over the place, has a reference to a popular book. As you may have noticed by looking at the individual room names, those are always references. Even the soundtrack, all the tracks on those are references.
Have you flipped the switch yet?
Not yet. Alright. So we can actually go back.
What a sick room.
Yay.
Woo! See, the blue wing has very static rooms behind it. Some of the other wings have like very unique hallways. Like this one is a very unique hallway you don't really see much of. So I don't remember really what it looks like.
These transition corridors are really long sometimes.
Look at these hops, dude.
Yeah, there's a few corridors in the Red Wing that are extremely long for no reason.
The no reason being that they're loading screens for the other game, which I've already mentioned. But yeah, just for no reason. Why not? Yeah, they're just doing something.
There, but I didn't really have time to explain it, and it'll come up again. So when I get to that, I'll have more time.
Man.
It's one of the only real glitches with slow-mo.
Sure, pass self.
We may keep one of the safes with us. You can actually do it with one safe. It's just really inconsistent and only saves 2 seconds or so.
Do we have time for an announcement?
Yep.
We've been getting a lot of Twitter messages concerning whether to keep the Twitch chat sub only or to make it free again. Sub only.
America, make it free.
Well,
Oh, I didn't want to go to this. What did I click on? Oh, no.
For us, it
Oh, God, I gotta find my spot again. I was so distracted, I clicked on something else. Where am I? I was so uninterested.
one of the safes with us. You can actually do it with one safe. It's just
Alright, we're back
really
again.
inconsistent.
Not
and only
misclicked.
Saves 2 seconds.
Ruined.
or so.
We're prone. It's over, man.
do we have time for an announcement?
Yep.
I love how he's... I don't know how quiet it is for you because I had to crank up my headphones to hear it. The donation reader is asking, is there time for an announcement? Like, there's so much commentary going on. There's so much being talked about that an announcement is simply, you can't make it, right? Like, just get out of here. Also, this face, I'm just like, what are you doing?
We've been getting a lot of Twitter messages concerning whether to keep the Twitch chat sub only or to make it free again.
So, I'm sure this is going to happen here in a bit. This whole free sub or free chat debacle. Someone just saw it on Twitter. He was saying we've got a lot of messages on Twitter whether we should make it not subbed anymore. And I think it was just the people behind, like, in the tech station, just like, we should just make this a thing. And they didn't like clear it with higher ups at GDQ at the time. And there's like, yep, this is gonna be a thing.
America, make it free. Well, I just got done with a conversation with Mike. And we're gonna make it a donation war.
Okay, maybe they did clear up with Mike, I don't know.
Good idea. That's a good idea.
That's a good idea.
Search for free chat or sub chat in the donation box.
Okay, so that was a pretty big announcement, and I don't know if the stream was able to hear it. So
Oh, I hate it so much.
chat has been in sub mode for a while now, and after speaking with Mike Oyama, the event
I don't even remember why it was in sub mode. If anyone remembers why in 2014 they put it in sub only mode, probably for a very good reason. Which is why it's in sub only mode every GDQ nowadays, whether people love it or hate it. But
organizer, the conclusion was reached that it will be a bid war between freedom and tyranny. The bid war will be a race. The first to $10,000 will win. So get your dogma ready.
is that really a bid war if it's a race? I mean, I guess technically it is, but it seems, I don't know.
Your wallet prime.
Despite the issues that it brings anyways. It's such a weird way to describe it.
Because this is going to be intense.
Intense.
As you say that, I think about 3 or 4 people have just subbed.
Wasn't it for no reason? I mean, I honestly don't remember. I feel like there is some reason they put it in sub-only mode, but that's why there's a bunch of drama. I mean, could have
Get
been.
those donations in based on your opinions, and be sure to weight those donations based on how strong your opinion is. So if you have a strong opinion and are on the internet, which I'm going to guess at least a few of you are, then those donations should reflect that.
Well, let's see here.
America was based on freedom, so
Well,
Really, because $20 says some.
I think at this point, like, I was like fully on board. I was just like, yeah, fuck it, free it. I don't care. Just free chat. Be done with it.
$50 says sub mode.
Want to know the trick I just did? Well, too bad you don't get to. If you're actually curious, there
On the
is.
internet, based on
So
how your
I'm
opinion
trying to get it.
opinions, and
This is
sure
part of the
to
trick.
weight those donations based on how strong your
So the end of the level is putting a safe onto this pad, but it's supposed to be, oh, if you place it on there, it's gonna get destroyed by lasers, right?
opinion is.
Well, it doesn't matter how much really of the safe is on the pressure pad for it to be
You
considered
have a
way
strong
down.
opinion.
So you just line it up. There's like a notch in the safe that I line up with the column here, and then you can just put the very edge on.
And are on the internet, which I'm going to
And if it doesn't tumble over to the right, which if you just place this lower, it's much safer.
guess at least a few of you are.
You just weighs it down.
Those donations.
America was based on freedom, so
Freedom. Hell yeah, brother.
$50 says sub mode.
So it was because people were spamming the Trihex controversy because he was banned or something? I don't know anything about that. Does not ring a bell.
So yeah, we'll.
Rip it up. Don't actually do that.
Pretty sure that's illegal, so please don't rip up the money.
And back to
I'm gonna go
just
for this
not
photo right here.
commentating.
It saves maybe a second, but it's always fun to go for.
Oh.
just rolled over.
What a thrill.
All right, the run's really about to get
Good.
good's one word for it.
Kind of curious what the strats were
Time
back then.
weighs heavy upon us all.
So this is one of the doors
Weighs,
that's quite different from the others. This one actually has 4 switches you need to weigh down, but we're just gonna go to this one here.
way.
Woo! Yeah!
Magic.
What's
So-
weird is you can only do that with 2 of the pressure pads. The other 2 just soft lock the game entirely.
So the race has already begun, thanks to Anonymous for a $500 donation.
So, to explain it, because I'm not going to explain it in this video, there's 4 pressure pads that you have to usually weigh down all 4 at once to open it up. But it only counts how many times they've been weighed down in total, not at once. So you can put 1 book on a pressure pad and weigh it down 4 separate times and it'll count and open. You can also put 2 books on 2 different pads and do the same thing, but you just do it twice because 2 plus 2 equals 4. But apparently, I don't remember that being the case, that if you do it on a specific one, it soft locks. That might be a thing.
Let the kappas flow free.
Dang.
Boo. Muted applause.
Woo!
This
Claps.
is another very interesting
Yeah, you
glitch
would
here.
never think of this.
Yeah, so before the laser comes out of the device, you can just block it, which makes no sense entirely, but why not abuse it?
Nothing in this game makes
Then
sense.
You get heavy dimension, which is through a terrible puzzle. That's probably the most interesting about the yellow wing is that it has a lot of one-time use glitches.
Yeah.
The next room has probably one of my favorite one-time use glitches.
Well, it's a laser that destroys anything it touches, pretty much. But just because it hasn't come out of the end of the machine yet, you can block it and it won't destroy it, which is very odd because it's still a deadly laser. I don't know what it does at the end that makes it destructible. I'm not a laserologist, but if there's one in chat, feel free to let me know how that works. I am willing to learn. Look at these sick hops.
So this is an example of a very long hallway that really shouldn't be that long. All right.
Oh, this one's nice. I like this room.
Man, the commentary is so quiet.
Thanks to Anonymous for a $100 donation. I can't afford the $5 to sub. Bible thumbs. Free chat.
Ha ha ha. Woo!
All right, so I can't object hover with a small box because I just can't stand on it, so
Oh,
Have a seizure?
I'm
sweet.
just gonna do that.
Good job.
Yeah, woo!
When you're in heavy dimension with a small item, you just get pushed off of it. So by going in and out of slow-mo and heavy together, you can just continuously slide off the item and glide to the exit instead. Now we go back to object hovering.
Didn't even ask before saying the donation, I know.
Confidence. So you're not gonna see any boosts though, but it is a ton, trust me.
Thank you to Damian Prystay for your $20 donation. Sub chat because bad behavior has to be addressed, not ignored.
All right,
Yeah.
this room probably has my favorite glitch in the game. I
Double swag.
I don't think we have a name for it, but it's basically preserving your momentum from items. It doesn't really make sense, but just keep watching.
Nothing makes sense. Nothing ever makes sense. I honestly didn't remember this being in the run so early on. Nope, it's too late. Yeah.
Darn it. It's really tight to get. You'll see when it happens.
It's actually not too bad if you get onto the couch early, so I was gonna point it out. If this, like the front of the couch, like passes the arm, it's too late, pretty much. Like, I don't think it's gonna work. Oh, that did. Okay, that's like the very last instance you can have it happen. If you jump anytime after it's like past that threshold, it just won't work. Because it's already like starting to technically descend after reaching the apex. Yeah, more claps.
I've used that glitch in the past, but it just really wasn't obvious because what you do is when an item is going upwards and it has a lot of speed, you can jump off of it and just keep all that momentum, which is really helpful for things going at high velocity, and you can slow-mo jump on it and then jump off as you're coming out of slow-mo.
So I thought I was going to mention something there, but I didn't. It's in a perfect world, in a theoretical task situation, that would be abused constantly. Because anytime you could object hover or fluffy fly or swishy swoosh or whatever, you would just build up a ton of speed in a short amount of time doing that, and then just jump off and maintain your momentum and just fly off instead of walking or object hovering or whatever. You would just build up a lot of momentum and then just go flying, which is why I've always wanted to see something like that done, but you just can't task PC games yet. Just kind of sad.
I missed the throw.
Oh, done.
So, quick update on the bid war, the race rather, between free chat and sub chat. Free chat has just broken $1,300.
Whoa, the big
whereas
bucks.
Sub chat is still at 53. So this race is looking a little bit one-sided, and if you'd rather it not look one-sided,
How is that possible when we've given 70 locally?
I just work here. I don't do
Okay, yeah, true. Really not. We're in the couch. So
That's not our job.
we might not be able to have time to before the race is over.
Take that 70 while I put my dollar towards free chat.
Sure, Asteray. I trust you.
On that note, thank you to Cruent for your $500 donation. Here's to ruining my chat experience, Bible Thumb.
Woo!
All right, I said I would explain this glitch next time I got to it. So in slow-mo, the animation of boxes going away still blocks the laser. So if you just go in slow-mo and preserve it, you can just block the lasers and get through it without having to worry.
Sort of. It's a bad way to explain it. Because you're in slow-mo, just blocking the laser at all, the laser has to travel the distance to become a laser again. That's just the way it goes. You know, it has to travel. But you're in slow-mo, so it's traveling very slowly, so you can just go past it once you've blocked it.
Luckily, you get 2 boxes and there's 4 lasers, and each box can get you through 2. So 2 plus 2 equals 4. Simple math.
Oh yeah.
You gotta throw out the math. Yeah.
Good.
Let's go, math.
Having sound here would be really helpful because it lets you know if you get that instantly. Luckily, I did.
Yeah, this is one of the few times where sound's actually really nice for this run. There are some cues you can use for momentum jumping at like the end of Yellow Wing, but it's just when you throw, instead of waiting to see if it goes in, you would hear, obviously, the cue that you got it in.
These shots are pretty
That
hard.
definitely confirms we didn't have audio for the run. Not just for the stream, but
Your blood
there as
thunder.
well. Woo!
Kobe. Shots done. Yeah. Barkley Thunder.
Giving people epilepsy.
So we have 3
Woo!
more rooms in the Yellow Wing. This one's fairly simple. The next 2 require really precise timing. That's one time you don't want to get a really good object hover.
So this is the trick you were asking about before with the pressure pad weighing it down in Cats in the Cradle. It's the same trick here. You just put it on the very edge. I think the sound issue was a capture card thing. I believe. Whatever capture card they were using or something just wasn't pushing out audio. I don't know.
All right.
It's pretty impressive
Finally
though.
Getting to the next room after 2 minutes of walking. So I think currently, out of the 4 people that might run the game, the other 3 grab the slow-mo.
Yeah.
But I skip it.
Some BDE.
So now you're not a catch.
Some big dick energy right here.
Interesting.
You never use the battery here. You just learn the strat.
Yeah, that's a nice.
And then almost missed the jump.
So if you jump just at the right moment, you can get up on top of the dollies, which you're not supposed to be able to do, and cross the gap. And now for probably the hardest room in the game, and one of the coolest.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the room where like a lot of people did use audio cues for it, but I just always use the visual one here. Luckily.
So you're supposed to slow down time and slow these objects down mid-air so you can jump on them. But screw that, let's just jump.
Look at the flawless execution.
Unfortunately, that's only the first part of this room.
So in addition to the race that's going on there, I'd also like to remind you that we have some Borderlands 2 incentives that still need to be met and don't have a huge amount of time left, including the language selection, which is ending, I believe, in not too long, in about 20 minutes. So get your donations in for those also, because those are a little bit more time sensitive than the,
Oh my, the strats. Look at this.
I believe, Japanese. is
Madman.
last time I checked.
Japanese! Glorious Nippon.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the cooler rooms, like done properly. Like the IL of this room is pretty sick.
Sneaks has donated $20 to free the chat. Boo. And Free the Chat Foundation has broken $1,500.
So while it's going on, I just got a graphical glitch I was talking about earlier. Basically, I died at the same time the game was trying to load. And so if I hit spacebar like it's telling me to do, it won't do anything, but it's always something fun to go for.
Now that we do the reload strats, I honestly forgot that was a thing you could do.
World record for this game is currently 49:05 by myself,
Ooh.
and it probably won't be broken anytime soon.
Won't be
Even with
broken
doing the last two
anytime
first like
soon.
I did, I still probably would have lost some time.
It was probably beaten in a week or something dumb.
All right, so we've gone through 2
So
rounds of
confident.
yellow. Now we're going to the red, which gets a bit easier, and it has a lot of...
I mean, I pretty much said the exact same thing for BioShock. I'm pretty sure. Just like it's so close to being optimized. Like it's gonna be hard to bring down the time.
long levels that are
I mean, you just gotta say that all the time. You just gotta tell people it's
interesting tricks, but
you're that good at the game. They'll believe it.
the work-
People still think I'm good at Quantum Conundrum.
And this is where we get the 4th dimension anti-gravity, which is the green.
Reversal of fortune. Reverse.
Wait, I don't get it. Explain.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, we didn't have the.
Fun fact, this room
Strat
has an
here.
audio cue.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there is an audio cue for this one.
Oh, good
It's
job.
very
You
minor,
got
but
it, mate.
Yeah, there's a few audio cues you can use, but if you've played the game long enough and done so many individual level attempts, you kind of know when to do it, so it's not too bad.
it's true.
The safest way to travel. This game is so good.
So that little jump I did there saves no time at all.
Like as much of this hurts to watch. I should actually be able to talk before I talk about how bad I'm commentating this. If Ethelon wasn't on couch just saying random stuff here and there, this would be exponentially worse. Like, so much worse.
But it's always fun to go for. Why not?
Even if he's just reading the names of the room and just pointing out very weird things here and there, it just helps ever so much. There's nothing going on. Look at these bunny hops, dude. Sick with it.
Thank you to Anonymous for a $500 donation.
The claps? Yeah, you gotta clap.
In 1776, Thomas Jefferson declared that all men were created equal. At that moment, a new nation was founded upon the ideal of freedom. Now, over 200 years later, we find ourselves in a similar situation. Therefore, I donate these $500 in the name of freedom and to help a great cause that I would gladly support any day of the week. Freedom. For freedom, we fight. Free chat.
So I mentioned this earlier. This is one of the very few rooms that actually has a speed strat in the hallway. Instead of walking all the way around, I might. So this hallway occurs 3 times, I think. It like repeats in 3 different sections. You're supposed to walk like around this pipe and around some others, and you go up the stairs. But
for freedom, we fight. Free
you
chat.
can just do a little hop, and then you're up there. Which you don't ever see anymore. I start running Quantum Conundrum all hallways. It's gonna be a hot new category.
All right, I'm going to go for a really stupid strat I shouldn't go for in this room. So shout outs to Zamanzo for this. Unfortunately, I don't think he's watching because he's fast asleep, but...
Oh. Ah.
Nice.
of all strats to get, I got that. I got that strat of all things. That is incredibly stupid to go for. Also, I don't know if I noticed this before, but this R is over the webcam and it's cropped off on the right hand side. What is this? What is this monstrosity going on up here? Fix your layouts.
This is another door we have to break completely differently than the rest. I can't break one on its own because they're connected, which is really unfortunate. And there we go.
Yeah, this game.
Must have had to fight off all the groupies after this run. I mean, that's every day of my life, you know? Every damn day. Second you do a GDQ run, it's just like
I've
blowing up the
logged
inbox.
once or twice. It's not really a common thing with Quantum Conundrum. Most of the time it has backups in case you do something stupid and get yourself in a situation where it would soft lock. So it's kind of hard to do that.
Okay, we had the strat
So
too.
not only
Cool.
can you get yourself out of bounds, you can actually get items out of bounds too, or just through walls.
I thought there were gonna be a lot of other strats in this. To be honest, I didn't know we had quite so many of these like up-to-date current
That's
strats
the whole puzzle here.
back then.
Why not?
I mean, the biggest time save for this run ever was finding that you could just skip all the hallways. That cut out so much time for just free. Yeah, I mean, this was not long after I started running this game, maybe like a year after, and I was still doing other things like BioShock and probably Portal at the time still as well. So like there weren't a whole lot of discoveries. There's never really been a lot of discoveries for this game. It's just kind of optimizing things where you could, which is crazy. That's gone as low as it has.
I'd love some science juice right now.
A healthy choice with every breakfast.
The taste of learning. Yeah. This room is horrible.
Ooh.
Fun fact.
First try.
But BloodThunder gets it every time.
It's not really a glitch, it's just abusing the game mechanics that if you hit your head while using anti-gravity, you can force objects to go the way you want them to, so you can just kind of control their path entirely. And I really don't like this room.
This is actually one of the worst
It's an
rooms
impossible space.
for the speedrun.
Occupies the same space as the previous room.
It's awful.
But who cares? There's science use.
He's literally changing.
Absolute flexing in this run.
Yeah, yeah.
All right,
All this flexing going on, and I have noodle arms. Look at me over here. I got toothpicks.
one more time.
Can't flex on anybody.
Slam.
Didn't say Kobe once. This entire run. And missed. Still do. Bitch, please.
Reset.
Flex comparison? I don't know. My arm might be too sore.
So it's actually faster to do a great object hover and get the speed from it than it is just to normally walk, so.
I don't know if you guys have earned a flex.
And that was, in fact, a great object hover.
Yeah. Doesn't happen often, but it was pretty good that time.
Barry couldn't handle it, I mean, for sure.
Whoever belt.
Oh, just like get banned immediately? Can't have guns on stream?
It's belt based, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, exactly. They're geniuses.
There's actually a little quote he says here, which if you really think about it, it doesn't make sense because he's talking about using inches as a scientist, which
Yeah.
I don't really know any scientists that would use the imperial system.
Got him. It's logic right there. Scientists don't use inches.
That's a technical term, so I don't know.
Goddamn freedom units. Look at this flex, not even moving.
Oh yeah, Ike.
Just standing still.
Don't worry about it.
Oh no, I unflexed. Whoops.
Thank you to DJ DePalm for a $50 donation. Let's get that Japanese language for BL2.
Yeah.
Now flex comparison.
So I did this earlier. but
Maybe
one
after
of
the run.
first little tricks I found.
Maybe after. Oh, here, I
When
gotta
I
talk
started
about that.
running the game, there was already people doing individual level segment attempts. So I just took their strats and then I just went through the hallways and tried to find ways to speed it up.
It's true.
So that's one of the first tricks I always remember.
Yeah, since when you do individual levels, you don't see the transition corridors.
Yeah, the 4-player co-op was this time around with Broman, iMisty, T-Rex, and someone else. I don't remember who the fourth runner was. Ubergoose, I think, was the other runner, wasn't he? I don't know. But yeah, that was this time around. That's the Borderlands they're talking about.
Alright, so I'm gonna keep this safe with me, which you're not supposed to do.
Yeah, when Professor Broman actually did speedruns.
And it's a little bit risky, and I probably shouldn't do it, but.
Oh, look at that risk. And saved it. Oh,
Oh, stop.
just messing around.
Oh.
Yeah.
Good job. More puns.
There we go.
Did someone request a rope?
So I broke the door to keep it open, and then I used
Oh,
the
okay.
safe to open up the inner door.
Yeah. Roll call. Who said that?
Alright, so I'm going to try to make this jump here, and unfortunately I didn't, but luckily enough you need to touch that wall anyways, because what that does is it loads the next room, And we're gonna not solve the room that we're in currently. We're gonna just look through this door.
Big ol' meme, and you actually you do end up solving the room that you're in. That's how you open the door. But if you do the next room correctly, you inadvertently solve the one that you're in. So all it is bringing a safe up to the ceiling. So you just pay attention to the safe over here and get it lined up with like this skylight, like the edge of it.
That roll call we were talking about.
You get the safe up there, then you're good.
Huh? Yeah, somebody said roll call.
Did they?
Start with the person who actually has a mic on.
Well, you shouldn't start with the actual runner.
I'm BloodThunder.
I'm Ethelon.
Yeah, let's call a roll call. 47 minutes into a run.
Decided sloth.
Cool.
Good job, good commentary. Woo!
This room is not difficult by any means, but it's very, very likely to go wrong. The safes don't like to go where they need to.
Cool.
And if it goes off path even slightly, you have to just restart the entire puzzle, which wastes a ton of time.
So yeah, this safe here, I don't think it happens in this run, but it can happen quite a bit with it like not landing properly. It will just start like gliding off to the left. So when you go up to the end here,
Start moving in a completely straight line. When you start going into
you can sort of see it's a little bit to the left, not a perfectly straight line, but sometimes it'll end up like over here, like way off. And it's just so annoying because you have to do some really janky stuff to fix it.
I mentioned, the safe just veers off.
Yeah. Safes really don't make any sense in this game.
Nothing makes
Update
sense.
Has been made to the donation war. At the end of this run, the chat will be free for 1 hour for every $1,000 that has been donated to it.
Okay.
But donations for that will stop being accepted as soon as this run ends. So as of right now, it looks like chat was going to be free for about 2 hours.
Okay, I think I remember what I was thinking about before. So when they made the announcement and they said they had talked to Mike, they talked to Mike89, another speedrunner, not Mike Uwama, the guy behind the events at the time and leading it. They didn't talk to that Mike. They talked to Mike89. And he brought up the idea. And so whenever the actual Mike found out about it, I think that's when this change happened because he wasn't happy about it. He was like, well, people already donated for it, so we're just going to change it. I think that's what happened. So I was pretty sure Mike didn't know about it beforehand.
All right. That works.
I'm okay with this.
Couch, well,
He actually makes that pun in the game.
yeah.
That's what happened. Yeah, I knew it was something like they didn't have actual permission to do it beforehand, and it just led into a thing. But then they're like, well, we talked to Mike, and I didn't remember the 89 stuff.
Couldn't hear it.
Your best imitation.
So this is one of those areas it's sort of a puzzle.
Imitating him right now.
Oh,
Flawless.
so good.
But it's mainly just an auto-scrolling platformer. Technically, you can speed this up, but it's just not worth it to go for.
Unfortunately, there's no way of speeding this area up
Nope.
the normal way.
There is. You should never go for it, though. Couch surfing. Woo!
You could be crazy and try to do a moment.
Out of bounds here. No, you can like get up in the vents, like at the very top of the map, and you might be able to get out. I don't think that was ever found to be useful if it was really a thing. But there you would just use, when you get the fluffy dimension, you can use that to either object hover, which is just awful because the vents will push it when it's in fluffy dimension, or you could pick it up and then throw it, which would be a little bit faster in terms of momentum, but it's not worth it to ever do.
Very end there.
Yeah, I thought about doing it, but it's not really worth it.
No, it's not.
You're already behind a bit. So this is probably the coolest room in the game by design. They give you the batteries up front, but you only can choose one, and you're supposed to go collect the other 3. But we're just going to choose Fluffy and break the room instantly because.
So this room is as cool as I said, but it's also this room and the one at the end, a minor setback part 1, are really cool because it does something that nothing else in this game does, and it's the biggest flaw, and that's really combine all of the different dimensions in like one room and let you kind of deal with it in your own way. The game introduces a lot of stuff constantly. It like leaves breadcrumbs and a trail for you to like pick up stuff like, oh hey, I got this new thing, or I can use it this dimension in this way, but it never really lets you use them more than just through the tutorial stuff. It's like, oh, you have this, you can sort of use it, but you really don't need to. But like this room, it's like, oh, you have all the stuff and you get to use it, and it's really cool to mess with dimensions in different ways and different orders. There's like no late game, end game hard puzzles, unfortunately. Watching Baby BT, yeah.
Alright.
Big old baby.
So we have 2 more rooms in the Red Wing, and then we get to go to the end of the game. But the next 2 aren't really a walk in the park.
What's the next room? Oh, it's okay. The hallways throw me off because I don't remember them. Oh, the strats. Don't ever go for that. Not worth it. It's not worth it. Don't go for that strat if you run this game.
Sign language.
Maybe you should. I don't know. Maybe it's easy.
Just saying.
Yeah, I'm lying. I didn't remember this
We're
being
actually gonna use
here back
slow-mo in
then.
here because the time frame
I thought that was a later discovery for sure.
is very, very small compared to the others.
That's crazy.
And when I was testing it one day, I just realized why not throw slow-mo in there and extend that time. So it makes it really, really consistent. All right.
But between, I can't see what the strat is these days because I don't know what record uses or what's been found since last time I tried to relearn stuff. But between the strats in this run and the most recent GDQ I ran the set, whatever event that was, 2018, 2019, whatever it may be. Like there's really not many strat changes. A couple of like 2 extra out of bounds. And maybe some small, very small optimizations and stuff. Any of these tricks patched out? No, this game never got patches after release, as far as I'm aware. So sadly, Airtight Studios, who made this game, they made this and a couple other games, but they are vastly different in terms of the actual games, and then they just went bankrupt and shut down. Like they just put out a game, put out a completely different game, then like one more, and then shut down.
We're gonna skip. First, I need to break the glass.
I don't know if they went bankrupt, but they just shut down.
Okay.
I don't think they ever got bought out or
Now we need
anything.
to save the fly off perfectly.
Into a game, yeah, I think that's the last one they made.
I want to get another one.
Fun fact about this trick, it's like frame rate dependent. The game's hard capped at 60, but for some reason, sometimes you can get like 61 FPS or something. Like it goes just a tick above 60, and it just completely screws this up. If you like use DX2 or something, I think if you like cap it to 59 FPS, it works like first try every time. It's so dumb. Hard cap to 60, you gotta forward to 60, is that what it is? I knew it was something like that.
You can
Yeah,
try
it's
like 30
something
times
stupid.
and it'll still be faster.
Yeah, there's a lot that we skip by doing this. I could go with all of these, but they're pretty slow.
I don't think that discovery of it being like an FPS related trick was found for some time after that.
So I want to try to get a good one for the stream.
Gotta get a good one for the stream, dude.
essentially the physics of the game.
Yeah.
So many different results.
Yeah, it's weird how like the physics just do different things every time.
Okay. I'm just gonna go with this one.
It's a pretty good one.
That's gonna smack that, yeah. Oh, saved.
That'll work. So you're supposed to get over there to the generator, but with the angle it's going.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely did. I don't remember how or when I figured out that it was maybe an FPS related thing.
It's gonna be up on top of this pipe. And
It was definitely way after this point. So there was a point in time when I actually did care about IL times for this game, and it was like trying to beat out Zamanzo, which just never worked out. If you beat Zamanzo's IL time, he'll take it back in like a tenth of the time that you spent working on it. It's ridiculous, but the IL for this room is so dumb to go for, because the trick to get the safe flying across the room, you have to do that so perfectly that it flies onto the lever arm that rotates without ever touching the safe. You just like press the button and then
pretty good fluffy. So
use anti-grav to get it all the way over there on its own.
there is another.
Like
way
you
of
just stay in the
doing it,
starting room. It's ridiculous.
just using anti-gravity and hitting it off your head, but it's really slow and not worth doing.
So the IL for this level is absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
See?
And the individual level time for this, you actually don't get on the safe at all. You don't break the window. You just hit the safe out and get it to land right on the generator. It's not a fun room to grind out. You're pretty much just going for luck.
It's like I did this run before.
All right, so we got 2 more rooms to go through. We'll get to the end. And if you haven't thought about it, each generator leads me back to the same door, so it doesn't make any sense why I just couldn't go back that same way to the end of the level. Skip the entire wing.
It's a very, very interesting thought that maybe that would work, but I think, to be devil's advocate, you can't open those doors back to the generators because they're locked, and the only way to unlock them is to go all the way through the wings to unlock the door, to go back and forth. But, you know, we may never know, because we can probably never track. You know, I should tweet at Kim Swift and ask her why you can't do that.
Well,
See if she has an answer.
you're supposed to wait for a plank to go out there.
7 years later.
It's a pretty hard jump.
The next room is also one of the coolest rooms in the game by design. It gives you all 4 dimensions up front and then takes them away in the reverse order that you obtained them originally. Unfortunately, I didn't pull that lever. Unfortunately,
Nice.
that means we get fluffy for the entire thing, and as you can probably guess, it's broken. So a lot of the puzzles rely on the fact that you can't get up high due to the fact that you don't have anti-gravity, but that's not really the case.
Look how clean these hovers are. These swishy swishes. Oh, so clean.
Oh, that was
Beautiful.
pretty good.
So probably the best picture in the game. It's
Yeah.
actually animated.
Nice.
It's so cool.
I want one of those.
All right, so we're just gonna hang out with Desmond up here for a little bit. So really the only part of RNG that we can't cut out of the game, all the items you see here are completely random and I don't want to hit them because they'll just slow me down or knock me into a laser, which...
There is a strat now to skip this. I've tried so many times to learn it. I don't understand how people do it consistently. But I had it like happen randomly. Just sometimes you won't fall the entire distance, it'll just get cut short. It won't load in the rest of the pipe and just assume you're at the end. There's a way using, you grab one of the items, and if you're like looking a certain way, you can like unload the rest of the pipe and you just skip a minute of falling, and it's so weird.
If I hit any of the lasers at all, I have to restart from the beginning of the fall, so.
And the lasers aren't always a one-shot. They're really weird in that they work. Like you can fall straight through a laser and not die, but then like barely touch a laser a different way and you'll just die every single time.
If I hit the very, very last one, I lose a ton of time. And
It's always seemed like if you're falling down, you have more wiggle room with the like touching the lasers. But if you're going back up, like if you get hit with reverse gravity and you're going upwards, that if you touch it at all, you'll die like immediately.
the anti-gravity section is by far the worst. 'Cause now I have items flying up at me.
You might have to do it like the speed that you're moving at. Like you're not in the laser for that long technically.
Killer for sure.
I've actually had runs get up to this point and just fly away because I hit a laser.
It's right at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So we have two more glitches at the end of the game here. One, I'm going to spawn Ike, which is our little companion. Give me a battery sooner. He'll just spawn behind me as long as I'm not too close to where he's supposed to spawn. And once again, the game doesn't count how many batteries you actually have in the device. It's just how many you put in. So if I just keep putting in Fluffy, it activates all 4.
Yeah.
And you may notice that there's now 3 Ikes over here.
Yep.
And we're going to do another little trick to get our powers back sooner. All right, time's coming up really soon.
We somehow came in under estimate. The worst part, I might mention this, I don't know. The worst part about not having audio is that you don't get to hear the credit song. Like, the only credit song that's worth listening to ever in the history of video games, it gets cut out because there's no audio.
All right, it's just 5 seconds.
I don't know what that's about, to be honest.
I would love to let the actual credit song play out because it's the greatest credit song in history.
What'd I say?
Then we flip a switch and Fluffy is everything. That's all I know.
But if you do play this game, definitely listen to the final song or just go look it up on YouTube. You will instantly fall in love with it.
So, BT, should we do a thing?
I think we should do a thing. Do you want to do it?
I want to do a thing.
Okay.
Oh, I want to do it. Oh, I get to do a thing.
Yep. Follow you.
Oh my god, I get to do a thing. Hold on.
So after every good Quantum Conundrum run, you have to do a thing. It's guaranteed.
Sadly, we don't have sound for this thing, but
Yeah. All right. So we didn't really show off Ike at all, but he is the glorious leader of Quantum Conundrum, and everyone should obey him. For free chat.
yeah.
Should make that into a emote.
Oh,
Is that
That's
the
Quantum
end of the
Conundrum.
run?
Hope you guys enjoyed it. Up next is Typing of the Dead, Surgeon Simulator, Borderlands 2, Dishonored, Anti-Chamber, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
Why do I know like the next 20 runs?
I mean,
follow BloodThunder.
what more could you want? Stay awake. Free chat.
Boo.
Why do I know the next 20 games that are coming up? Usually I'll be like, you know, stick around because like usually they put games in blocks these days and I'll have a friend doing a run next or like a really interesting one that I care about. I'm like, oh, you should stay and watch whatever this next game is. But I'm like, here's the next day of games. Used to care about GDQ schedule? Yeah, apparently. I think it's also because I just, at this point in time, I just like stayed in the stream room or near the stream room. Like at all times. There really wasn't much else to do on site. It's I would love to see if someone has like pictures or videos of like behind the scenes on this GDQ. So you can find people doing like live streams on their phones or taking pictures or whatever of the events nowadays. And there's a lot to do. They have arcades, they have like panels and different practice rooms and stuff. Back then there was like a somewhat casual room that was like no bigger than my bedroom with like a couple CRTs in it. And that was kind of it. Very small event. It's actually a convention now. Not really, but just the size of the crowd is so different. I don't remember how many people. Like this might have been 800, maybe. Like the cap might have been at 800 for this. And nowadays it's like 2,500, maybe 2,000, depending on the venue. Not run it back, no. Stick around, free chat, disconnects mic. You gotta drop the mic. Do I drop it? Not even cutting the mic. Oh hey, look, it's Peaches, Broman, Missy. Is that Zim in the background? Oh my god, it is. All these different people. What a flashback. What a flashback. Yeah, that honestly might be my least favorite GDQ run I've done. If not my least, like definitely my second. I can't think of another one that I would put up there. I mean, I want to get around to watching all my other ones. Up next we'd probably do BioShock 2 from SGDQ 2014. Just, a couple months after this. That one might be up there, but I don't think it's nearly as bad. I probably actually had stuff to talk about. It's just didn't really have stuff to talk about. No game audio for myself or for the stream. Tons of dead silence, dead air. Just the whole free chat debacle that went on. That wasn't as big of a thing as I thought it was. I thought there was a lot more like donations and stuff towards that, and it was like a bigger part of like the end of the run than it was, but it is still an awful disaster. I think I still have this jacket. So fun fact about this jacket I'm wearing. I don't know if I can show it. Probably not. I say, do I put it on somewhere? So the pockets for the jacket aren't like sewed to the side. What's the best way it is? So like they flop out, and anything you put in the pockets just fall out immediately because they just flop around all over the place. And it's just awful. Oh. I might have thrown it away. I might have given it away. I don't see it. Awful jacket, and I hate it.
Right,
It is awful.
The language donation incentive for Borderlands 2 closed.
Look at those jeans. Oh,
French actually won by about 1,000.